another Monday live stream. Let me get things hooked up here. All right. Sharing my stuff. Okay, almost there. Okay. I think we're good to roll. Hey, how's it going? All right. So last week we left off with this this elf girl. Okay, they finally connected. Goodness sakes. Wanted to get some music going in my head. But my AirPods were having trouble hooking up to my phone. Hey, what's up, Neil? All right. I think we're rocking now. So how's everybody doing today? Another Monday? A little too loud. There we go. Okay. It's always interesting to sculpt something, take a break from it for a while, and come back and check it out again. That's kind of where I'm at with this. It's like, okay, let's go from here. Typically like to spin around it and just kind of check out what it's looking like. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. And I was thinking about doing, I could do this hair a couple of ways. I could do a hair helmet with kind of the strands cut in, or, you know, I could do it laying out each single strand, which is probably what I'm gonna do today. But hey, what's up, Ingrid? Been busy building animation courses all day. Ah, nice. Okay. That's quite the task. I'm gonna pull her nose out just a bit more. Is the sound okay today? Turn my desktop audio off. There we go. It's pretty low. Okay, I'll crank it up. Is that, let's see. Is that better? Hopefully I don't blast your ears out. It's good? Okay. Let me know if it's too loud now. I kind of cranked it up a little bit. Okay. That's better? Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. Oh, I'm like, why isn't this working? Spotlight projection. There we go. Okay. I'm just kind of looking where I left off here. I think I'm going to duplicate this head and ZRemesher it to see what I get, just for fun. Let's use that easy remesh. Maybe 10K. Okay. See what it does. Here we go. This is before. And we're going to easy ZRemesh it. How much time have I worked on this? This is 2 hours. I just barely started this week's session, so I'll go for another 2 hours. And I'm just kind of wanting to focus on the hair today. Okay, this is kind of making some weird stuff through here. All right, I'm gonna undo that. Hey, what's up, Amy? How you doing? Okay. I need to give her better eye sockets. So I'm gonna mask off where her eye sockets are and just push them into her head further. Further. All right. So I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you had a good weekend, good week. Hope you got some sculpting in. You're sleepy. You're struggling to stay motivated. That's a good that's a kind of a good topic. What do you do when you are not motivated? Something I could talk about if you guys want. Do you miss working on Disney Infinity? I do, and I miss working with the people that I worked with a lot, because I'm kind of just like everybody that's working from home right now. I'm just kind of I'm working from home, but I have my family here. Like my kids are here, and so that helps. But I do miss working with my team. So that was a thing. So, which character would I like to work on that I didn't get a chance to create? You know, I'm a huge fan of Jack Skellington, and Matt Thorup got to work on that one, but he did a fabulous job. So I would have liked to have worked on it, but I'm glad I didn't because Matt killed it. So okay. Ah, that's a good one. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline is key. That's well said right there. Yeah, but sometimes you just need that spark, right? That little thing that gets your motor running. And usually what that is for me is looking at really well designed two-dimensional art. I'll go and browse. I follow a whole bunch of character designers. And I will go peruse their art and just kind of get motivated and try and find some, like Josh Black here. I'll just go look at his latest art, and I follow them on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And so I see just art in my feed, and if I get some of my some people on there that have like, they're just those political rant kind of people, I'll just kind of hide them. So I want to see art on my feed. I don't want to just get into arguments and stuff with people. So I'll usually just, set my feed up that way. So, and another way that I like to get myself motivated is by going to Pinterest. And I have a board on Pinterest, and Pinterest is a rabbit hole. If you've ever messed around on Pinterest, once you find an artist, you can just search for an artist like Joshua Black on Pinterest, and you'll find a bunch of his art. But then as you click on it, it will give you suggestions of other people or other art to look at. And then you click on that one, and you just kind of keep going down the rabbit hole and finding new artists, finding new art stuff. Yeah, it's really, really easy to find stuff that motivates you on Pinterest, as far as, that's my opinion. I do anyway. Yep, Neil. There's tons, right? Tons. Can you show how to make patterns in very accurately in Polypaint? I don't need to do that with this character right now. But I would suggest searching for noisemaker, looking for the noisemaker on Google. So ZBrush noisemaker, and that's a really good way. You have to have UVs, but that's a really good way to do patterns inside of ZBrush. Yeah, Indy, I need to, for sure. I need to finish some of these and like flesh out the body and stuff like that and get them done. Okay. Kind of focusing here. Okay, now that I have, so ZRemesher works off of peaks and valleys and polygroups. There's a whole bunch of different things that it looks at when it does its algorithm. And I wanted to, I wanted to make a peak inside. That's why I went in and gave her sockets, because I wanted the ZRemesher to follow the peak there. Let's see, am I missing anything? Could be wrong when I ZBrush something like a cape with 3 different polygroups and the edges separate from each other when you subdivide after. I would have to see it, Kirkland. I'm not sure exactly where you're getting hung up there. Hey, what's up, Hopper? How you doing, man? Hey, Afori, how you doing? Motion tracking. Are you a lover of getting characters into real-world scene or 3D based? What I'm asking is your favorite way to design character videos for yourself when you have time to do so. So Lady Bainhart, I'm not quite understanding what you're asking me. Sorry about that. So yes, I'm a lover of getting characters into real world. So these behind me that you see on my camera, those are prints of a lot of my characters that I've done in the past. And I also worked on Disney Infinity. You can see the characters lining the top there. Those are Infinity characters. And I've worked in the video game industry for about 23 years now. And I always push well, not always. I push my characters into video game engines a lot. The edges pull away from each other. I tried to weld points, but it doesn't seem to do the job. Huh. Yeah, Kirkland, I maybe send a ticket to support at ZBrush, or yeah, support at Pixologic.com, and ask them, like, send them some screenshots of your problem. Hopefully they can help you out there. Are we sending this character to Keyshot? I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll get that far. I don't know that I have the current version of Keyshot installed, actually. Sorry, I'm not doing much sculpting. I'm doing more talking here. Whoa. That was funny. Okay, I just want to do a little pinch the edge here. If I was designing a character for a game, how long? That is, it's completely up to the character design. Because there's detailed characters and there's not so detailed characters. There's, you know, there's super simple. And it also depends on if you're going for, like, putting it on a mobile device or a next gen console. You know, but it's the time it takes is super broad. Like, I could do a character anywhere from a couple hours to a couple months, right? Depending on the complexity. So, okay, let's see. Okay, let's try. I just want to get these eyelids working better so I can ZRemesh them better. I just want an actual eyelid happening here. Yeah, Mike, that's true. When the studio says it's due, that's how long it takes. Yep. Very true words. How you doing, Mike? Just kind of pushing these eyelids out. They probably did it too far. Oops. Oh, lots of questions today. Hold on a second. 1 second. Let me just focus on this. Let's see. Changing the blend shapes plugin here in ZBrush help with face rigs. I've never used it. Well, that's a lie. I've used it, but I haven't used it in production. So basically the blend shape plugin will essentially just make layers, and it will make all your blend shapes into layers, and then you can just push those layers over to Maya and it will make separate heads, and those heads will become your blend shapes. So yes, it's helpful, but me personally, I've always worked in game engines that use bones rather than blend shapes, but it works pretty well. Any tips if we want to make sculpture from a 2D drawing? That question is essentially the broadest question that you could ask, because that's what you do. That's the whole point of the thing. So the best tip I can give you is just practice and make sure your block out is matches the concept as good as it can, because the blockouts make the most impact on your character. So make sure you're good at doing blockouts and good at proportions and measuring and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Looking forward to working in the game industry, and I have a website with short cycles. What do industries often look for in an online website? I usually design and print my own designs as well. So I just kind of had a big discussion with my students on what to put in your portfolio. And basically what you want to put in there, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, is your portfolio, if you're trying to get work in the industry, whether it's for toys or games or whatever, you want to put work in your portfolio that shows those companies that you can do the work that they want you to do. That's the whole goal of a portfolio, period. That's it. So don't put anything in there that you don't want to do, or that you don't want to. Like if your goal is to model characters for a company, you don't want to put animations in there, you don't want to put props in there, you don't want to put environments in there, you just want to put characters in there. And even more specifically, if it's a company that does stylized characters like Riot or Blizzard or somebody like that, then you want to have stylized characters in your portfolio. So if that makes sense, if you want to be an animator, put animations in there. If you want to be an animator for games, do more game animation. If you want to do cinematics, do more cinematic style animation. You just want to show the companies or the people who want to hire you that you can do the work. That's the goal. So if you think about that goal in your head while you're doing your portfolio, that's what you want to do. And today I'm listening to The Midnight. You guys have ever heard of The Midnight? It's like a new band that does 80s style synth wave music. It's pretty good. Characters with stick, legs, and arm. How do you approach working on that and making the stick legs look interesting and not stagnant? Well, you'll want to put them in a pose as soon as possible. That's how, like Jack Skellington, right? He's got the stickiest stick legs you've ever seen, and I mean, you can kind of put him in a little pose in T pose, but you just want to pose him up as quickly as possible, and it also helps you make sure that he's looking correct too. So that's a hard one to answer without actually kind of showing you one. This is too even all the way across here. Gunship, huh? All right, I gotta write that down. Hold on a second. Gunship. Sweet, thanks. I'll check it out. Thanks, Corey. All right. Sorry, we're in the polish phase, so it's a little slower moving. Let's get some, I'm going to start to get some hair on there, though. Just looking at that head shape and making sure it's going to work. I was going to edit that nose a little bit, and I still want to try and get a ZRemeshed mesh to work. Robert Parker. Cool, I'll check that out. There's one my son turned me on to. It's the guy from Game Grumps. I'm trying to remember his name. But they did one animated. The whole music video is animated. It looks like an anime style. Super cool. Like a tattoo? So you'll want to use Spotlight like this. And you can just use it to spotlight project the image like a tattoo or something right down onto the surface. So just for example, I'll show you what it can do here. So you just kind of move it over the surface. You can turn down the opacity so you can kind of align it where you want it. Let's put it down in here. Starlight Brigade. Yep. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, Starlight Brigade. So awesome. I love it. Okay, but to get this to work, you need to turn spotlight projection on instead of off. So if you're using Spotlight for reference, you need spotlight projection turned off. And on, if you're using my user interface, that button is right here. And to do the transfer or the projection, you need to use the hard paint brush, and you can just paint it on like this. And then hide it. Whoops. I hit Control Z. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. So I don't have a high enough resolution, but you can kind of see what it's done there. Let's get a better resolution here. Let's put it on our cheek where there's a lot of resolution. Okay. It's like right there or something. Whoop. So if this was ZRemeshed and it had subdivisions, like enough subdivisions to handle it, it would project really nice. So anyway, that's kind of how you would do a tattoo. But like a pattern for a shirt, if it's going around the corner at all, like if you're not projecting it straight on, then Spotlight starts to become a pain in the butt because you have to turn it and stamp it again, turn it, stamp it again. It's not fun. So I would use Noisemaker, and then you can use Noisemaker with UVs and textures, and then you can transfer that to Polypaint if you want. Hey, what's up, Saeed? There's the only thing you can really do is like you just have to freehand it, or use there's a stroke called as line. I'm trying to remember where that is. You can turn it on so you can draw lines and they're straight. You can also do it inside the UVs, in the UV master. Now you can paint inside the UV master. That's one of the new additions, I think in 2020, and I've not done it yet. I need to practice with it, but oh, hey, Ryan. How you doing, man? Are you at Funko now? That's cool. So, I know, I'm trying to remember her name. So I know an animator's name's Mike Walling. He's worked at like DreamWorks and Naughty Dog, and not Naughty Dog, Bungie. So he's in Seattle. His wife works at Funko. I'm trying to remember her name. She's one of the, I think she in HR? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, yeah, cool. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for saying hello. All right. Okay, I'm going to try ZRemesh now. Let's duplicate this again. I can delete this one. And we'll try it with that plugin again. So you can see the before and after. I'm going to go ahead and hold down Alt. So if you hover over this, you'll see it says, hold down Alt to run with Tessimation. So I'm going to try and do that first. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. So it's going to Tessimate first, and then it's going to ZRemesh it. It's going to take a minute, sorry about that. But you can see it Tessimated the top of the head. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so now what we can do is hit this Clean Mesh button. And it's going to kind of clean this whole thing up. You can see how it smoothed it out. But once you do that, though, you got to be careful because it's going to get rid of some of my details. You can see it got rid of my eyelids, my nostrils. It did keep this lip crease because I had a poly group there. So it's not quite what I want. See, it made creases over everything. That's not quite what I want, but you can see how clean it is now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, well, let me see. And that being the case, what I could do is kind of go back and I could reset my poly groups. This is called Easy ZRemesh. It's made by Francis Xavier, he goes by Poly Junkie. And you can find it, I think I found it on ArtStation. And check it out. It's a really nice upgrade, I guess, to ZRemesher. It just adds a few tools that helps you out. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the creases and dynamically subdivide it. And okay, so now that this is smooth, I want to project my color back. I lost my color. Whenever you use ZRemesh, you're going to lose your color. So you can see I still have my old head here. And what I can do is I can project that old head onto this new head. Hey, what's up, David? Let me crank this up. And crank the opacity up. And turn spotlight back off. There we go. Okay, now that we're done with this, we can close it. I found this really nice concept art of a demon and found it challenging to make, especially these horns from the head. Is it really tough, or am I just dumb? No, so I'm going to give you a huge tip, trick, whatever you want to call it right now. And it's I'm going to sound a little bit like a jerk, and I apologize, but you can sculpt anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just, I mean, there are little shortcuts that you can use to, like, how to sculpt horns and things like that. There are shortcuts you can do, but you shouldn't get hung up on what you're sculpting, right? Like, how do I sculpt a dog? Well, you sculpt it just like a human, right? It's the same. You're just looking at the thing and sculpting it. So there are nuances to it, and that will help you, like if you know the anatomy of a dog or something like that. But if you don't, go get reference to help you. But sculpting horns is just like sculpting ears. That's just like sculpting feet. If you have reference and you just sculpt it, right? So you have to think about it like if you're sculpting in real clay. If you're sculpting in real clay, there's no tricks or tips or anything like that. You just kind of sculpt what you see, and you just use the tools that you have. So don't get hung up on the fact that it's horns and it's hard to sculpt horns. It's just, instead of thinking of it like that, think about it like I'm just sculpting this thing. right? This other object, and it just happens to be horns. But so think about how it's shaped and built and how the form is, and just sculpt that. But how I do horns really quick is I just use Z-spheres typically, and I'll just start a Z-sphere chain, and I'll make my horn shape. If it's like if I were to give her horns, here, I'll just do it really fast. You just append this Z-sphere right here, and you click it. It's probably down here. There we go. And I'm just going to scale this down. And we'll just put them here. So I'm not mirroring this right now. I'll just make one and then mirror it after the fact. But basically, you just go into draw mode. You just draw these spheres out. You used to use W to move. And you can even do curly horns or whatever. But usually what I do is I will scale the end one down, is all the way down to what the end of the horn is going to be. And then I'll fill in the difference. So now I have a nice taper, right? And say if I want the horn to end there or end here, something like that. Okay, so now I can fill in the in-between. I'll just go to draw, which is Q, and just click on one. See all these spheres in the center? I can just click on one of these to make it an actual Z-sphere. And then I can just start, you know, moving it around. And I'll hit draw again. Oops. I want to move it, not draw another one. Anyway, I don't want to sit and make it all crazy, but you kind of get the idea. We put some in here. It's a weird shaped horn. I don't know what I'm doing, but hey, there you go. Let's do it like this. I was trying to do some fawn horn or something like that. Then you can always push A. So A is adaptive skin, and it's going to make a dynameshed horn like this. And then you can just go in there and you have to, when you want this to keep it, you have to click on Make 3D, which is up here. And that will make the horn something you can use. But if you don't want it to be dynameshed, you can go down to adaptive skin right here. And if you crank this dynamesh resolution down to 0, then push A, it's going to give you something more like this. And if you don't want it that dense, you can turn your density down to 1, and it'll make it look something like this. Then when you're done, you can click on this Make Polymesh 3D, and it'll make it into its own tool, brand new tool. And then you can come in here with your smooth, really low intensity, and then you can just clean it up like this. There you go. And it's a smooth, then you can just turn on dynamic subdivisions. You can come back in here with inflate and just kind of clean it up a bit, make the taper work better. Yeah. So yes, I can, I guess I make it look easy. Don't get hung up on how fast you're doing it. Just take your time, do a good job. And don't worry about the low resolution mesh looking horrible if it does, because you can clean it up. So anyway, there you go. Little horn tutorial. Delete that. Then if you want it in here, you just append it. So append horn, there it is. And then you can just mirror it over. Mirror and weld. Whoops, is it on local? Mirrored the eyes. It's all right. There we go. There's your horns. Oh, David, the beta will be released Wednesday. Awesome. I just barely was thinking about you because I was just pushing something over to Blender from ZBrush, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could use that plugin. Okay, let's get back to projecting. Insert Austin Powers joke. Let's see. So question, how do you always click on the model instead of it being out in space? Tap the model in queue. I don't understand what you're asking, Andy. If you're asking how I select the subtools, you just hold down Alt and left click on something, and it will select whichever subtool you have. So if I turn on wireframe, you can see I'm selecting the teeth, the eyes, the eyebrows. Is that what you're asking? Let's hide. If you know 3D Studio Max or Blender, is it better to model the base there than sculpt on ZBrush? That's certainly a workflow, a good workflow. The good thing about that is you will have a base mesh already over in 3D Studio Max or Maya, and you can just bring it over and just do what you need to do high res, and then project it back onto that low res. That is that's kind of the workflow I started with when I first started learning ZBrush. But the con about that is you are limiting yourself to the polygons, and you're doing your box modeling over in 3D Studio Max, where it's kind of less creative, in my opinion, and you're moving points more rather than sculpting. So I kind of changed over to building my stuff from scratch inside of ZBrush instead, because I was a box modeler, polygon modeler for the first, I don't know, 15 years of my career, till I learned all about sculpting, and then I kind of never looked back. So I mean, I'll still box model occasionally, but it's usually when I'm making props or things like that. So, okay, I want to project this. I'm going to hide everything. I'm going to show this face, and then I'm going to project all. And yes, I want Polypaint. There we go. And you can go back and forth. Barely see the difference between the two. But now we have a ZRemeshed mesh version of her. And now we can unhide all the things. And I can delete these horns. And we're good to go. All right. How do you keep both the Z-sphere and the clay layer in order to use the Z-sphere control? Well, yeah, I don't want to go into that too much. A Z-sphere, so I would do ask ZBrush and then type in Z-spheres, and there are lessons out there on Z-spheres. But A, like the letter A on your keyboard, that will go back and forth between adaptive skinning and looking at the Z-sphere. And you can go back and forth and move your Z-spheres, and then just hit A to see the preview of what it's going to look like when you commit it. So that's kind of how that works. Okay. Can you recommend a good place to get feedback on artwork? Posing on ArtStation Instagram feels like shouting into a void. Yeah, Zoe, there's 10,000 hours you can get feedback on there, but sometimes it can be what am I trying to say? It can be a bit toxic in there sometimes. And you can post your work on Polygon. Sometimes you'll get feedback there. I teach a 3D character workshop. That's what this logo's from. I teach a workshop, and we have a student community in there, and I try and give as much feedback in there as I can. I also have another a volunteer employee. Her name is Chris. She's an ex-Disney artist as well, and she's in there giving feedback and drawovers and things like that. So if you want feedback, you can always look into my course if you'd like. But if you want, feedback for free, then it's yeah, I would just post on Polygon, or 10,000 Hours is a group on Facebook. If you want to look at that, it's run by my good friend Justin Goby Fields. So that's a good place to be. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Thanks. Okay, so let's put in some hair now that we have the head. Come on, select this. There we go. Okay, I'm going to save this. And I loaded in Dylan Ekron's hairbrush. I got to give him a plug today. Dylan, if you don't know who he is, Dylan Ekron, he worked at Disney Feature forever. And I can't remember, I think he just went to Netflix, but I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, he has a hairbrush on Gumroad that you can go grab. And it's a hairbrush that we used on Disney Infinity to make a lot of the hair for our characters. Really nice stuff. You can see them across the top here. Now, I usually use the Macon hairbrush. You've seen me use that before. The biggest difference between the Macon hairbrush and Dylan's hairbrush is Dylan's is split into multiple strands. So basically, and you'll see me do it, you basically draw out a clump of strands, and then after you've drawn them, you go back in, and then you edit each strand after that. So you can't reach the forums? Like, is it down or what? I'm just gonna check for you really quick. It was having problems the other day. Nope, looks good. So if you guys want a preview of the forums, my student forums, they look like this. These are a bunch of students doing some work in there. There's a top row. Awesome characters. Now, Dylan, I have to shout out to Dylan again. Dylan also makes, he also teaches a course on Mold 3D. And if you want to take your characters to the next level, he has a different type of course than I do, where it's very, very hands-on, and he gives you feedback every single week. So, dang it, sorry, Aklari. Maybe, I always hate to say this, but maybe delete your cache or your history and see if you can get it to work again. Okay. Grab this color. And then we have, so Dylan's brush works a lot like, I draw a strand here. Now this is a single strand, you can see. This is just a triangle shaped profile. And this one has several. It's hard to see, but it looks like there's maybe just one in there. Yes, thanks, Zoe. I meant poly count instead of polygon. Thank you. You're considering buying yourself a new tablet. Previous one did not have any tilt. How important is tilt? I don't know how important. Tilt is usually used when you're doing spray on like Adobe Photoshop or something like that, when you're wanting to tilt and spray out. But I don't really notice tilt. You know, it's just I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I wish I did. It hasn't really affected me one way or the other. I think Wacom tablets natively have tilt, so that's just what I've been used to. Okay, there's this one. Yeah, I want this one, multi-thick. There we go. This one. Okay. I want to make a really big brush. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to redraw that so it goes further back into her bun here, her hair bun. So let's go from the top, her forehead back to here. I don't want it to snap though. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this. I know it looks dumb for a second, but I'm gonna do auto group. So now you can see how many different strands there are in this hair. It works, sweet. That's good. How can I change scale of an edge of plane with gizmo without mask? I don't know if there's a way to do it. Well, I think you can do it with the Z modeler brush. I don't know. Like with scale, I don't know if you can scale an edge. Yep, scale edge. Like that. Oh, it's masked. So there you go. See how it's scaling? So scale edge into the Z modeler brush would do it. Okay. Going to split unmask points and then mirror and weld these guys. So this brush has one big thick piece in the center and then 4 extra strands, maybe 5, I think 4, that are floating. So then you can adjust all of those strands as kind of different floaters around it. And I really like to use the Move Elastic brush for these hairs. And this is actually what we're working with right here. So it doesn't have that many loops going down the length of it. And we can add loops in here if we want. I kind of wish it had a few more loops. That's okay. You can adjust those as you draw them to have more loops. But when you make the hairbrush and you make it this big, then the loops down the length get less frequent. So you just kind of have to deal with it. All right. So what I can do too is just kind of isolate each one of these and work with them independently. So like I can start with this one first and insert an edge like this. That way I can grab, let's do mask lasso. And just kind of rotate this down into her head so it's like coming from her hairline rather than just like laying the hair on her head. It's not how hair works. Whoop. And so I just isolate mask this line right here, this loop, and I can hold down Alt and click on this Google Map icon to put the gizmo in the center of that. Then I can just rotate my camera to be on plane and then just kind of rotate that into place. Okay, then I can turn on dynamic, and dynamic won't show unless you have the whole thing showing, the whole strand showing. So if you want to see dynamic turned on, you'll have to split those other hairs off into their own poly group, which I think I might do that right now. Basically, you can just mask off the main strands like this, and then just do split unmask points, and that will put them in their own group. And then you can hide them. And now we can see the hair, what it's actually going to look like subdivided, which is nice. Go back to Move Elastic, and we can just start kind of moving these around. And snake hook brush works really well too. You still get a lot of contract work on big projects these days, or you're mostly full-time focused on your course? I get people, I get asked if I can do them all the time, but unfortunately I'm too busy with my course. Well, fortunately for me, I love working on my course and helping my students. But yeah, that doesn't leave me time to do freelance or contract work, hardly at all. So I kind of pick and choose if I do anything at all. If it's a contract job that I really want to work on and I have time for it, then I'll do it. But the last thing I worked on contract-wise was a skin for Overwatch. For Zenyatta, the Zenyatta baseball skin, if you guys haven't seen that. I did a lot of contract work for Playful on what's it called? Jeez, guys. My brain, sometimes it doesn't work. what is it called? Lucky's tail. There we go. Lucky's tail. I did, so I modeled his love interest, the fox. Hey, what's up, Lucky? You rang. Good timing. How are you doing, man? Okay, I obviously need more cuts in here. What is your tail, Lucky? I'm sure it's a good one. Lucky's one of my students in the 3D character workshop. That's why I like to. Did you only do the texturing, or did you model the mesh as well? Well, they gave me a base mesh to start with, but I modeled all of the baseball parts that made him have the baseball skin and the texturing. I can't, they don't let me say too much about it, so unfortunately I can't get into the details, but he was textured in by baking maps and texturing him in Photoshop. They have a whole Photoshop file with layer system and everything that's really nice. So one smooth brush that I use occasionally that's kind of hidden and not a lot of people know about it is it's a brush that's called Smooth. Well, before I butcher the name of it, if you hit your comma on your keyboard, it will pull up Lightbox. This is called Lightbox. And if you go to brush, and then you can find the folder that is the smooth brush folder. And in here, there's one called Smooth Direction. So I can click on Smooth Direction, hit skip this note, and then if you smooth it, just like a literal brush or a comb going down the length of the hair strand. So basically it'll try and keep these peaks, but it'll smooth out everything else. Let me turn it down like a 5. So I'm just smoothing it down the length of it. And that's essentially how you can get rid of the warbles with, I'm considering putting that brush out on my user interface because it's so good. Okay. Okay, so I want to really work on this hairline. It's not what I want it to be. Yeah, Hopper, that's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. And it works really well with the Macon hairbrush, the one that you get with the course that has the creases on it. It works seriously good with that one. What is your software for retopologizing? I don't like to talk about other software during my live stream because this is Pixologic's Twitch channel and Facebook channel and YouTube channel, wherever you happen to be watching this right now. Pixologic are the makers of ZBrush, and I'm just a volunteer here, so I don't really like to talk about too much of the competing softwares, but I can just tell you that I use either 3D Studio Max, or not 3D Studio Max, Maya's Quad Draw, or 3D Coat's Retopology tools. So those are my favorites. I love to use the topology brush inside of ZBrush to make small things like armor, clothing, and stuff like that. But to retop an entire character in here, the retop tools aren't quite where they aren't quite as user friendly. Maybe they'll eventually update those. But yeah, the topology brush is fantastic for smaller stuff. So I'm just nudging this hair out forward here. Okay, so now that I have these, I can just kind of do the next one. Or I can take those, I have those small strands just kind of floating off in space over here. But I'm not going to do those just yet. I want another thick one. So let's go back to Dylan's brush, and I'm going to grab this one. Yeah, that'd be nice, right, Quicks? Okay, now with this one selected, so even though we have this hair, this subtool is selected, you don't have to have the head that you're going to be drawing on selected, because I want this hair strand to end up living in this same subtool. So I can activate this subtool even though I'm going to be drawing straight on the head. So keep that in mind. I want to snap it. Ugh, I drew on the ear. Okay. See the length of loops here? See, it has a bunch, but if I make the brush larger and then I click on that curve, the loops get fewer and further between. What about polygroup from Paint feature and combine it with ZRemesher? It works wonderfully well for a sculptural mesh, like a base mesh to sculpt on. That does not work for a mesh that you're going to use for deformation and animation in a game engine, television series, or film. So you will still need to go in and retopologize that by hand. I think I get that question every single live stream. Everybody's just like, can I just ZRemesh it and use that? I wish. Not quite there yet. Hey from Russia. Hello and welcome. Okay. You know, I think I'm just going to use this and then scale it up. That's good enough, I think. So let's put it into its own polygroup. Now, see how this has 3 polygroups? Because it's a triple insert multi-mesh brush. It's called an insert multi-mesh curve brush. And it has 3 parts. So it has a beginning and end, that's those green polygroups, and then the yellow is the middle that gets duplicated as you draw the strand out. So that will get duplicated down the length of it. Okay, but I don't want that. I wanted a solid polygroup. So I'm going to invert the mask and hit Control W. That's going to make this whole strand its own. Actually, I think I want to do auto groups because there's a couple extra strands in here. You can see them. They're mostly on the back side of it, which is kind of strange. I might have drawn it in the wrong direction. Schumann, thank you. Yeah, so like I said before in the stream, I worked for Disney for 10 years, Disney Interactive, and I worked on Disney Infinity, and so all these Disney Infinity characters are, I've sculpted a handful of them. I mostly put them kind of right, well, they're all across there. And, you know, sculpted some like this Hulk. This is a big premium edition that was never released. This is how big they were going to be. See my hand compared to my hand versus like a little Disney Infinity character. This is a regular size one. This is a big one, but it still has the Infinity ring on the bottom. Pretty crazy. Right, Neil? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, so now that we have this, I want to make sure that these aren't touching in the center, and then do a mirror and weld just to get them symmetrical. What was a Disney Infinity character you're most proud of, and what was most challenging when translating the design to Infinity style? How do you decide what details were important to keep? Ryan, that's a great question. I know you want to know the answer. The one I loved the most, it kind of goes back and forth, but the one I liked a lot was Boba Fett because he had a lot of hard surface pieces and he was in a really cool pose and he had some cloth hanging off, and but he was pretty simple to get in the Infinity style. The most difficult one that I had trouble with was actually Anakin Skywalker, because his face, it was just really difficult to hit his face and get it right. And basically it's like a caricature, right? You're trying to exaggerate things that are large and diminish things that are small, and that's essentially a caricature. And then you're also trying to simplify, so you're dropping out details and you're exaggerating things that are large, right? So the one I'm probably most proud of is one that never launched, which was Jyn Erso, because I wish I could show it on this. Well, I can show this. So let me see if I can do this. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so hi. This is, she's kind of hard to see, but this is Jyn. Let me move. So she's from Rogue One, the main, you know, the lead actress from Rogue One. And she turned out, if I wish you could see the details, but she turned out really, really good as far as like her likeness and her hair. And her hair actually is kind of what I'm trying to achieve with this hair that I'm working on right now. But this hair is more, it's just slabs. I actually might reverse and do these slab kind of a hair rather than the hair I'm doing. I forgot about this, but anyway, yeah, this is the one. And if you want to see this Hulk again large, you can see it. Look at that. I just posed this one. I didn't model him. I just posed him. I think he was actually modeled. Well, a couple of us worked on this one. I think Ian Jacobs and Brian Allen worked on him. But I made all of this rock and rubble coming up, and I used the noisemaker for this smoke. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So anyway, there's that. Hey, Angry. All right. Since you started your course, roughly how many students have you taught so far? Are you ready? Because this blows me away every single time. I have over 1,500 students in my course right now. And how I can say that is like, it's not 1,500 that I'm teaching all at once, because people will come in, they'll get excited, they'll make a few characters, and then their interest will kind of wane, or they'll get better and then they'll go away. And then they might come back again because it's lifetime access. So it's kind of an interesting way of doing a course. It doesn't end in 8 weeks. It's the lifetime of the course, not my lifetime or your lifetime. It's the lifetime of the course. And I've been going for 3 years so far. And we just did a brand new release of 1.5 with a new look and you know, new lessons. It's constantly growing. And yeah, and I'm really excited about what the future holds. So yeah, I'm going to be, well, I don't want to say what we're working on right now, but thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. But it's been a long time coming out that I've wanted to update for a while, so I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, hide these things. I want to split this. So rather than split masking, you can also do a split hidden, and that will split these off. Because I just want these two chunks like this. But now that I looked at Jyn Erso again, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that hair, and it's a lot like this. That's funny. Oh man, you know, would you guys like to see Jyn? Do you want me to see if I can find her and pull her up? If you would, I will pull her up. All right. I just don't want Disney to get mad and, you know, come Mickey knocking on my door. Show me what you've got. Nice. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. Let's see. It might take me a second, so please be patient. Oh, it's probably... Gosh, head PS0. Oh, I think this is it. Doug, I cannot say. That's a huge no-no, so. There you go. So, you guys, this is my old ruler file. You're quite confused. What's the main reason for not using ZRemesher for retopology? Because the topology that it gives you, and I'm building up hype right now. I'm just letting you stare at this ruler. So the reason why is because it does not give you a good enough mesh that's ready for deformation. You have to do certain things, particularly with the face and around the eyes and the mouth, to get it to deform properly. Around each joint, you have to have enough lines in there that it will deform properly. So yeah, it's not what you, if you gave that a ZRemeshed mesh to a rigging department to rig, they're gonna laugh you out of the studio. So just please don't do that. Learn how to retopologize properly and do it correctly. So okay, yeah, this is the old ruler. Yep. Yep, the ruler. Honestly, do you guys use, I have to ask you guys, do you guys use my ruler at Funko? Do any of you? I just wonder. Because, yeah, I had to come up with that. Okay, let's turn this off. There she is. All right, let's hide this ruler. Dunk. So here you go. Put her in perspective. I don't know why. So you can see her hair. See how her hair is made of like slabs instead of, there you go. See, just her likeness came out pretty well. She has a really interesting mouth with a very uniquely shaped like these little cheek puffs out here and stuff like that. So there you go. She's got her gun, and yeah, I need to get this in my portfolio. I need to render her out properly and put it in my portfolio. So we also did all the bases for these. See this? Like, and all the texture work and everything. We had to do all that too. So there you go. Well, thanks for checking it out, and thanks for the praise. I really enjoy it. Also, thin to thicks. Look for those. And this is a curve strap brush that I made. That was just a rectangle that repeats down the line as you drag it. Yeah, they do. Comic Legends, they do. Uh-huh. Yeah, because in the games they have to talk and you have to see their teeth and stuff. So okay. All right. Well, thanks for asking. Now we'll go back to this. Not quite as good, right? But I think I might do slabs for this instead. Maybe this simple A. Let me try this. Yeah, I like this one because it has just that little peak on there, just that single peak. So let's do that. You know, and sometimes it's okay to just go, this hair's not working. Let's try something else. You know, and I could tune this hair and get it to work. But I think I'm just gonna start over if you guys don't mind. I'm just gonna merge these together so they're all in one subtool and keep it. Okay. So that's kind of how you use this Dylan Eckern hairbrush, but thanks. I don't know how to say your name, Susnod. Everyone has to travel or sludge through the Valley of the Suck. Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's just go to town on this hair. Just get it in there. Okay. how can I do fangs and long hair? Use an insert multi-mesh for the fangs, like just insert a sphere and then shape it like a fang. And then for long hair, you do exactly what I'm doing, but a little longer. So I know that sounds like a jerk's thing to say, but it's true. Basically what I do for long hair is I block out the whole thing like a big blob and then shape it all, and then I'll draw the hairs on top of that. So that's a easier way to do it. Because you can't really draw hairs out in space because it does weird things. So you kind of need something to draw on top of. So just make a temporary hair shape block out piece. Okay. I should reach out to the Midnight and ask them if I can use their songs while I stream. That'd be awesome. Okay. So if you guys don't know who the Midnight is, go check them out on Spotify or whatever. They're really they're my newest favorite band. Where can you download the hairbrushes? This is I mentioned it earlier in the stream. This is Dylan Ekron's hairbrush. You can find it on Gumroad. I believe, Neil, if you wouldn't mind posting a link to that again. Okay, so I'm just going to use this brush. Edo, yeah, I already answered that question a little earlier during this stream. So if you want to watch it back, I hate to ask you to do that, but watch it back on YouTube. I think I answer that question on every stream, which is fine. That's what people want to know, right? But just a short answer is put in your portfolio what the types of characters that you want to work on. So if you're targeting a certain company like Blizzard or Riot, put characters that are along the same lines as those characters. That doesn't mean you need to model a Blizzard character. For example, in my portfolio, I didn't have a Blizzard character in it until I worked for them. But they still reached out and asked me if I wanted to do one, so. A tour of my studio? Yeah, I'm actually getting a new desk. So this Cintiq is so heavy that it made my desk bow. So my desk is bowing like this. And it's the reason why is because I left off the frame supports underneath, because I have a tray, a keyboard tray underneath my Cintiq, and so I couldn't put the support, so it kind of broke. But I'm gonna make a new top for it and sell it, I think. But I'm getting a new desk that I can have a keyboard tray on, and it still has enough support under there that it's not gonna bow. Do you have a group of artist friends that keep you updated with the latest production workflows so that you can incorporate that into your course? Absolutely. Yes, and I'm researching all the time, and I'm talking to people all the time. I interview pros inside of my course all the time. I just barely did an interview with Paul Deasy. I have one with Joe Pickop, and just a whole bunch of pros in there. And we talk about different workflows, different things. So I'm constantly, just because I'm not working for a studio, I'm constantly trying out new techniques and even new software, stuff like that. I have time to do it now, so I want to start doing reviews on software and that too, because I want to grow my YouTube channel eventually. Okay. So let's see, I want one big thick one across there. Let's see if I can do that. You want to see all the prints? I should do like those slow turns. You know how people do those slow kind of rotations? Like, yeah, I need to do that. Yeah, Neil. Watch that new Paul DC one. Did you see that one? Gosh, it keeps. Here, you know what? I'm gonna turn symmetry off. We're going off symmetry now. It's gonna be crazy. Okay. All right. Somebody asked when you know when it's time to go to Sculptris Pro mode. The answer to that is really when. I don't know if I have an answer for that. It's when you run out of. When you're not done. When you're done with your blockout stage. When you feel like you're done with your blockout. You're like, okay, everything is in there. Everything is the correct proportion or as close as I can get it at the time. So now I'm going to move forward. And that's usually the time when I turn on Sculptris Pro and start digging into the medium level of details. I kind of have one. Are you comics? Are you in my course yet? I don't have a tally of. I can't remember who is in there, who's not. But I have one where I interview Ian Jacobs, and that is essentially what we did. So he actually came to my house, and we sat down and we went over every single, well, not every single one, but most of the characters that he sculpted, and we talked about them. Oh yeah, Bryce Laville. Yep, he's awesome. I hung out with him at Lightbox Expo. He works for Clash of Clans, that studio now. He's super tall, that guy. Yeah, he's hilarious. And Brandon Lawless, yep, he works at Disney Feature still, I believe. I met him at CTN. There's so many. That whole crew at Disney Feature is just top notch. Galena. Okay, let's split these off. Hey, how's it going, Chicken Hawk? How's it going? Okay, I'm giving her way too big of a forehead here. Scoot these forward. Now, see, these all have the same polygroups, and the polygroups are like in triple. So what I want to do is go to auto groups, and it'll make a single group out of each strand. And now I can turn on the topological button on my snake hook brush, and I can edit each one individually. Okay, I need an extra strand in this orange one. An extra strand. I call it strand. An extra loop, an edge loop here. Let's see. And usually when you add an extra edge loop, you want to turn off dynamic subdivision mode so you can see what it's really looking like, not the smoothed preview. So I'm going to do a couple of these. Haha! I said snake hook, and look who shows up. It's Ashley. Hello. How are you? I have not busted by your stream for quite some time. I know, it's the prophecy. It's the I didn't say it 3 times though. You're getting better. You get your spidey sense going. What's up? So A Cubed is a different. She's a fantastic sculptor on here. She also sculpts on this channel, and she makes the craziest, coolest monsters. I don't know how you do it, honestly, Ashley. I don't. gonna say that right now. I should try it sometime. It would just, I know it would look like the monster at the end of Weird Science. Just a big old... Sorry to rub your lamp, Ashley, but she's a double threat. I don't know if you're probably triple threat too, but double threat at least, because Ashley can also sculpt stylized characters like the wind blows. So, man, couldn't keep up. What am I doing? I'm transposing. There we go. Look at all this love you're getting. Edge loop. And if you want to see when other sculptors are streaming, you can always go to, where is it? Let's go to ZBrush Live. Just type in ZBrush Live in Google. And then click on this first link, ZBrush Live. Go there. And there's presenters. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, whatever. You have a feature film under your belt. I do not. There you go. So here I am streaming. That's kind of meta, I know. But here we go. Presenters or calendar, either way. But presenters, and here's A cubed right here. Here's Ashley right here. You have Overwatch. Okay. I'll give you that. Like, but you. All right. So here's me, and they're actually put up here in the order of the amount of streaming that we've done for some reason. So you can tell Ashley and I have, we're live streamers to the max. To the max. And then you click on past broadcasts and schedule. Well, hold on. Let me click on Ashley's. Goodness. Okay. So here you go. This is the kind of stuff Ashley does. Incredible. Do you ever print your stuff out, Ashley? I wonder if some of these wings would hold up in printing, but man, they would be fun to see printed. See, here we go. Here's some stylized character action. So then if you go to calendar, back here, calendar, you can see when each of us are streaming. So here we go, Wednesday, July 2nd, 3 o'clock. Boom. Mike Thompson, if you want to learn about 3D printing, watch Eamon. If you want to learn about jewelry, watch Thomas Whittleback. Yep. Awesome stuff. Great presenters on here. So do it. Do it. Ashley, I got to say, love those glasses in your latest, you'll probably be embarrassed, but I like those glasses in your latest post. Your glasses, not ones you've modeled. It's good. Good. Is that your profile? I think it's your profile pic or something you changed. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, what's up, David? Do you have puppy intermissions? Man, I gotta up my game. Oh. Puppy intermissions. I'm sad because we had to send my puppy off to the puppy heaven. And I don't know that I'm getting another one anytime soon, so I'll have to do something about that. Yeah, I had a beagle. She was 9. And she got Cushing's disease, if you guys have ever heard of that, Cushing's. And lots of, well, not to go into the details, but she had lots of issues. Yeah. Not too fun. All right. Ooh. Okay, I'm doing one more fatty on this side. Fatty. go. Are you familiar with what Cushing's is and does? Yeah, we put her on some meds and she was doing great for a while, but she just kept having like urinary tract infections and all sorts of issues. Just miserable, you know? You have a husky who's 11. Wow. Time zones are annoying. So what I think I have the fewest viewers in China. I apologize, China viewers. So I try and start mine at noon, which is midnight on the opposite side of the world, right? And try and get the broadest amount of streamers that I can, but public domain, during intermissions or play my harmonica or something like that. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not a good time for sure. I put another loop in here. Sorry, this is probably the slowest stream that I've done for a while. Hair just always takes forever. So it's just like, well, this is how hair works. I wish there was a shortcut. You know, the shortest shortcut I know of is just by using Macon hairbrush that puts in multiple strands at a time. But I don't always want that look, so sometimes you just have to take the slow boat. All right. I've never heard it put that way, but you're absolutely right. How do you use the ruler in the project? Just scale your character to that ruler and you should be good to go. Without going, it takes me a while to explain the whole thing. When you download the ruler, there's a video right on the download page that teaches you how to use it. So watch that video and it shows you how. By the way, just to throw that out there, this user interface, my brushes and my ruler file I give away for free over on my website. If you want to check it out, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. But there's, yeah, I talk about how to install my ruler file and the brushes and what they do and how they work and all that stuff. So check it. Stick with bald people, Chris. You could model my head. I don't have any hair under here. See? There's nothing. I got nothing. I was bald since I was 20. There, reveal. Head reveal. Like those YouTube videos. Reveal. Ashley, do you ever use smooth directional in any of your like creature sculpts? I'm just curious. Or if you just go with the tried and true regular smooth brush. Oh, Martin, that made me laugh. Yeah, I should be putting the hair on myself, right? But the game industry is rough. Oh my goodness. I actually didn't get into the game industry until I was about 28. No, I was in the military, and they shaved my hair off in the military, and it never grew back. Yeah, I'm 25 now. Okay, I gotta fix this one. Yes, Lucky. Get out. You gotta be an a-hole. Sorry, you gotta be an hole. There. Yep. Ash, I don't do the. I like to beep out my swears, so I'm kid friendly. I do. I have a special effects machine. I can change my voice like this. It can make me sound all weird. Right? It's pretty expensive though. I should show you. It's called a Go XLR. Look at this thing. Can you see this? Look at that piece of equipment. It's nuts. I love it for streaming though. It's the best piece of equipment for streaming ever. Because yeah. Because it splits all your channels. So you can have your, it's for like game streaming when you're talking to your friends over chat versus the game music versus what you're sending out to your friends over chat and what you're sending out to live stream. It'll split all of that stuff. And it is sick. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, so they make a mini that's just half of that. It's just half the size and it just has the 4 sliders on it that splits everything. But you got to have the fun machine. The fun machine. Like I can, or the machine. That sounded horrible. I was saying fun. Yes. Yes. So, the what is that? The unnecessary censorship on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Oh, jeez. I know, right? I'm out. They're like, no, it's censored. It's censored. I'm good. Yeah, it's called the Go XLR. Go XLR. Yep, and I always, I love my toys. I also have this Stream Deck thing. See the Stream Deck right here? And it switches my my scenes. So I can switch to this or this or this. Yeah, all the switching. Gotta bring my ZBrush one back though. Yeah. All my crap. Apologies to Matt Damon. Good stuff. All right. I need to be doing this hair. Goodness. Oh. You need one of those to talk to your kids. Just a beat machine. Oh, man. Yep, Go XLR. Change your life. Change your streaming life. Okay, what am I doing? Can you hotkey brushes to the Stream Deck? You can, Chris. Yeah, you can. Yep, you can totally put ZBrush brushes. And it has different folders, so you can like go into the folder and have all your brushes on there. And there are different size Stream Decks. There's giant ones and little tiny ones, and yeah. Good stuff. All right. Why, thank you. Let's push that back a little bit. Oh, Philippe. Oh, welcome. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. There are folders. Oh, you know what? I'm sad. I'm sad because it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing a ZBrush Summit. I haven't heard if they're going to do a remote one. What is it? An online one yet or not? They'll probably do something, but I'm sad that they're not going to have a live one because then I can't yell out they have whatever the new thing is. Yeah, I haven't heard. I was hoping you could finally attend one, Ashley, and I could meet you in person. I think I've met almost all of the other streamers in person except for you and Polygon, I think. I'm trying to remember. There might be one or two more I haven't met, but all right. Oh, subfolders. Do you know why sometimes when importing a mesh that was zeroed out would sometimes be off slightly in X position, then going back into Maya, have to readjust again? So that's another, not to toot my own horn on my my ruler file, but if you open the ruler file project first, I've redone the grid so the grid is on 0, 0, 0, and the ruler is sitting there from there. And the ruler is a 2 meter ruler in Maya, so you can go back and forth between Maya and ZBrush really easily with that ruler. And it's also set up to scale at 100, and that's what Maya wants. I don't use GoZ when I go back and forth between Maya. I either use FBX or OBJ. OBJ if I'm doing one subtool at a time, FBX if I'm doing multiple, because it's just cleaner, and I just find it cleaner going back and forth. So if you have my ruler file, load your ZTL into that project, set it up there, and it should be 0, 0'd out, and then you can push it back and forth with no problem. But what happens is when you import something into an empty project, an empty scene, it will look at that mesh as a bounding box. So if you have a sword or something that is wider than it's putting it off symmetry, then it's going to push that whole model over to the center if it's not symmetrical. Does that make sense? Yeah, Sculptor, I've been to the ZBrush Summit for the last 5 years, I think. Something like that. Okay. All right, that's good. This is gonna work. I'm gonna put in the loops now. You were gonna go this year too, Lucky? Dang it. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll have our own summit. I don't know. I'm hoping they'll do something. Actually, I don't know if, did you answer my question about do you use sculpt direct or smooth directional? Did you answer that question? I might have missed it. 3D Character Workshop Summit. Yeah, it would be awesome to get Donna, right? So Donna is one of my assistants. She helps me out, and she's in the UK. So she's on a completely different time zone. Smooth, strong. Well, yes, you're not a freak because you like to use Dynamesh, and do you use Sculptris Pro much? Because Smooth Stronger is the fave for that type of mesh, right? But if you're doing something like this and you want to smooth down the length of it, then Smooth Directional is the way to go, because it won't, if you watch this, it won't spread those poly loops apart. See, normal Smooth would take these poly loops and spread them down this direction. But if you hold down Shift and stroke in the direction of the thing, then it keeps it there. But it will smooth in the opposite direction, but not the direction you're doing your stroke. That makes sense. Yeah, it's wild. It's really cool. That's the best. Neat. Best reaction for that. It is neat. I like it. How are you from France? I would love to visit France. That's how I am. But hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Super neat. These strands are all getting way too similar. I need to add more variety. Make them wider. Did you ever compete in the ZBrush Summit Challenge? Yes, I took 3rd place. 3rd place. You want to see what I did? So the theme, that was the first year I went to the ZBrush Summit. And the theme was flora and fauna. So I'm like, what could I do? See how this is getting kinked right here? Watch this magic right here. Whoop, whoop. Just smooth that sucker out. Okay. Let me show you. I'm gonna go back to that. It's listed on my ZBrush Live page. Live. Back then I didn't have as many followers, and my stuff wasn't well known at all, and so I was just doing my best, you know. But I was happy with third place. Hell, I won a Hulk. I won a Hulk by getting third place. That was kind of cool. So this right here. That's what I did. So it's this dandelion losing his hair. Because, you know, like I said, it kind of hits close to home. Like, no. Oh man. But that was tricky. Oh, do you remember that, Ashley? Nice. Yeah, that was my good friend Jason he works at Blizzard now, but he worked with me at Disney Interactive at the time, and he helped me with the design of it, because I came up with the idea, and then he concepted that out for me, and then I sculpted it during the live stream, and it was a lot of fun. Rendered in Keyshot, you can see his little tears coming out of his eye. It was just a lot of fun. And these little seeds, I made a custom insert multimesh brush out of those, and just populated it like a nano mesh on his head. Yeah, those are just insert multimesh seeds. So I just modeled them up and then populated them across the sphere as his head, and it just kind of made it look like a dandelion. It worked pretty good. His name's Jason Kim, by the way. I said Jason, like you guys know who he is. Jason Kim. He's a phenomenal concept artist. Really, really good. Okay, let's see. Looks like that guy from Star Wars that has those things on the side of his head that's bald. And I always forget to do the new, if you want to isolate mask, I always do Control and do a mask, let go, and then invert the mask, if that's what I want. Rather than, if you hold down Control and do that, and then hold down Alt at the same time, it'll change to white. Then you let go, and that's a shortcut to get where you want to go. I never remember, because it was added after I learned the majority of ZBrush, so it's like a muscle memory now to not do that. I'm sure every time Paul sees me do it, he's like, don't you know? Oh yeah, Lobot. I knew there'd be somebody who knew who that guy was. Lando's assistant. That's right. Okay, let's transpose. I don't want to do that yet. So Ashley, are you working on anything cool these days? Probably you can't talk about it, huh? Can't say. I'll have to kill you. And Ashley, don't you have a corgi? Is that what you have as a corgi? I'm trying to remember. Is that your pupper intermission? What? That's perfect. That's a perfect answer. Yes, I'm working on Monty. Man, Monty is not a popular name. I love that name. Hi from Colombia. Thank you very much. Oh, you know what? I'm ending all these as if she's going to have this bun down here. How's that going to work? Man, I'm distracted today. I'm just going to say that right now. Distracted. Fix that. Your brother's name is Monty? Maybe it's more common than I realize. Okay, I want to mirror this green one over. Split this. What are those orange dots on the hair? It's dynamic subdivision that's turned on. You can see it in my interface. It's right here. But dynamic subdivision is a preview of what your subdivision levels are going to look like. So it's like hitting number 3 on your keyboard when you're working in Maya or Turbo Smooth in 3D Studio Max. It's a preview of your subdivisions. So the dots represent where your low resolution mesh is. So if I turn it off, you can see where they are. See these 3 dots right here? And if I turn it back on, those 3 dots represent where those vertices were or are. Yep, the reason why you've never seen these dots probably is because your mesh hasn't been low enough or on an angle tight enough. So it has to be a very low resolution mesh with a tight angle, then you'll see them appear. So what? I sculpt Timon and Pumbaa of the Lion King at the moment. Would you or can I find Disney references, please? I don't know. not to be rude, but I would probably just hit Google and find them, you know? That's what I would do. Let's see. Let me just hit mirror. There it is. Then mirror and weld. There we go. Oh no, you can ask whatever you want. Okay, then I want to put some little strands on top of these just to kind of break it up. Yep, Pinterest works as well. Yeah, especially technical questions are, yeah, ask away. Don't be embarrassed. We've all been there before. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Andrew. Yeah, do a search for character sheet. So Timon character sheet. That is actually an excellent non-rude answer. Thank you. I know you don't like it when we sculpt something that's already been done. No, that wasn't my point. I mentioned in the course too. Yeah, you don't want to sculpt a sculpt, right? So if somebody's already sculpted something, like say Wreck-It Ralph, don't go sculpt Wreck-It Ralph because you're always going to be compared to the original, right? And it's better to if you're going to sculpt Wreck-It Ralph, sculpt a concept that somebody has done that is different or looks different than Wreck-It Ralph, or you can do some concepting yourself in 3D and take it away from the original and do your own take on it as a parody, that's or fan art or something like that. It's totally fine. But trying to sculpt a sculpt isn't gonna, you know, it's just maybe for some training, like personal training, but don't do it to put in your portfolio or something like that. Now, Timon is a little different because He is a well-known Disney character that is in a two-dimensional film. It's not, well, not counting the newest one, right? That thing. But I'm talking about the original and the 2D art of that was not a 3D character. So I mean, you can model that as fan art, and you know, that's just fine. But he has been modeled for 3D games like you know, Kingdom Hearts and things like that. But it's a good exercise because it's a good design. But the only problem is it's also it's a very popular character. And if you're going to stream a Disney character like I did, you're going to get your hand slapped by Disney. So like I was sculpting the dad from Disney's Tarzan, Jane's dad, that Archimedes guy, and YouTube pulled it because I was showing their artwork during the stream. So I don't know if you know that, Ash, but they did. Yeah, they told. So Kyle from Pixologic had to go in and ask YouTube to bring it back because they pulled it off, and they without warning. They just so people can be watching the live stream and it will just kill it. Because I was doing the same thing with a Q&A session for my students, and they just like one of my students was sculpting the girl from Jungle Book, and it just killed my live stream. Boom. Slap on the wrist. Yeah, Disney's watching. They're everywhere. Always watching. Yep, it's true. It's true, it's true. I need some more volume. Turn up the volume. Flat head. Always watching. I wish I could do a good Mickey Mouse voice. My friend Worth does a fantastic one. And I can do an okay Goofy voice. So we'd go on walks like for lunch and stuff, and we'd have a conversation between Mickey and Goofy, and we'd swear up a storm, and it was a lot of fun. What am I listening to? Let me tell you. I'm listening to Devices Unavailable. That's the name of the band. It's pretty good. It's called When You Grow Up. When you grow up, your heart dies. Oh, that's sad. Jeez. I guess I'm listening to emo. I don't know. When you grow up, your heart dies. It's a pretty cheery tune. Kind of sounds a little bit like, this is going to date me. Sounds like Knights of Reb or something like that. Yeah, I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying. But it's depressing, you know. It is a pretty cheery song saying don't let go. Like don't let it die when you grow up. Depeche Mode. I'm a huge fan of Depeche Mode. Went to their concert a couple years ago. It's pretty good. I'm a new wave kid. That's why I like the synth wave. It's good stuff. Okay. Oh, it's Don't Let Your Heart Die. All right, there it is. It's advice. It's an advice song. Ugh, synthwave. Yeah, I was talking about the Midnight. Have you heard the Midnight? Ash, it's pretty good synthwave. Don't let it go. She needs more forehead. She not symmetrical. What's going on here? Yeah, this is good stuff. Breakfast Club. Hold on. When you grow up, your heart dies. By Gunship. By Gunship. I'm so stupid. I said it's by devices available because that's part of Spotify. Oh, I'm an idiot. Well, now I'm embarrassed. Devices available. I need to make a new band and it's going to be called Devices Available. Gunship. Gunship. Oh, goodness. I must be old. I'm an old guy. I look at stuff and do that. Short circuit. You like Gunship? I'm writing that down. Gunship. Another one that somebody recommended was Robert. Oh, Gunship, Robert Parker. Hey, I'm not a boomer. Am I a boomer? I'm not a boomer. When would you guys guess I was born? I'm the same age as Disney World. That's a big hint. Disney World in Florida. Same. Okay, I gotta write this down, Andrew. Give me the suggestions. Sorry, I'm writing these down. That place is so old. So old. I don't have the curve brush installed, really? All right. Well, I'm going to put in some more of the little ones. Close, Chris. Chris is closest. 71. My mom watches these. Hey, Mom. She'll be laughing at this one. 82. Can you please repeat E selection? How you get smooth? I don't know what that word is. Sorry, Prakash. EAY? EA curves? I'm using smooth directional, and it's in the smooth folder. So right here, smooth directional, inside Lightbox. Yep, I'm sure. Bobby, I'm a grandpa. Yeah, she taught me those beeps. Oh, funny. I'm not 71. I was born in 71. 1971. That's not my age. I'm 48. How does smooth directional work? You turn it on and you smooth in the direction of the hair, just like your comb or your brush. I'm 1971 years old. Ancient. Ancient. You know what? I'm going to do this again because I want to have I can go change the profile. Yeah, McBobby's thought I said 71 was like my age, not the year I was born. It's all good. Let's see. What am I looking for? Stroke. Curve modifiers. This thing. What? Why aren't you? Oh, because I got to be on a curve brush. That would help, huh? There we go. Okay. So this thing, I can basically make a taper. So I can taper the beginning and the end like this. Now when I draw the hair, it will be tapered. Will hair sculpting brush work on these strands too? What? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that, sorry. See how it's thin to thick to thin again? That's what I want.
Did you miss a link to your UI and ruler? Neil, would you mind? Somebody asked about this
Character.
This is a character by my good friend Josh Black. On my back is a robot.
Oh no.
Really?
Robo. I'm back as a robot. I didn't push my effects, I promise.
Oh, does it ever happen to you, Ashley?
Man. Dang it. Okay, I'll be quiet for a minute. I need honey. By your command. It's my vocoder.
No?
Gosh dang it. Yes, the sound is broken, I know. It turns me into a robot. I don't know why. Oh, fiber mesh brushes will work on these two? No. This is just for chunky, stylized hair. I typically don't use fiber mesh because it doesn't 3D print very well and I can't use it in a game engine. So I usually don't use that. Is my voice still a robot? Is my voice still a robot? Take me to your leader. Affirmative. Sure my laughing sounds good as a robot. Exterminate. Perfect. Oops. Low battery. Yay. I'm gonna turn my effect back on. I'm still a robot. Yep. Matt. Love Matt. I miss working with him. Awesome. All right. Well, it's just cleared up just in time for me to be done here. It's 2 o'clock. That's my finishing time. So I'll do a couple more little things here. But this is essentially what I'm going to do is just kind of go through and lay these extra little strands on top to break up these shapes to make it look like a more complex head of hair. And then I'll put the bun on and do the same. I'll basically do a base shape bun and then do the little hairs on top to make it look like it's more complex. And I'll just continue on doing that. Should we give her some irises a little bit, really quick? Yeah, let's do this here for a second. All right, David, thanks. Yeah, let me know. I'd love to try it out. David is making a 3D Character Workshop plugin for ZBrush that does a handful of cool things. Let's see if I can grab this. I kind of want it a little brighter. Oops. Yeah, that works, I guess. Talking to myself. All right. Turn on live boolean, turn this to negative and push it into the face or to the eye. Oh, I think it needs to be no. Okay, why isn't this working? That's why. There we go. All right, yep, everybody, you're welcome. And as always, I have a course, an online course, if you're wanting to learn more about this stuff. You can check it out at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. I also give away my free user interface and my brushes and my my ruler file if you're interested in that as well. And we will see you next Monday, same time. And don't forget to catch Ashley Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So thanks for hanging out with me today, Ash. And thank you for hanging out with me, everyone else, too. We'll see you later. Take it easy and happy sculpting. All right. Cheers. We'll see ya.